What's up, Internet? This is Rambling Josh, and you're watching another episode of Let's Play Ark the Lad. Today, I want to spend a little while talking about what exactly the Water Guardian meant when he said about defeating 10 enemies last time around, or whatever it is exactly that he said. So, you may notice that in the background there is a whole bunch of fighting going on at hyper speed. And that is because in Zaraban there is sort of a side quest to defeat enemies, and the more enemies you beat, you get certain rewards. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time while the demonstration battles are going to kind of explain exactly how that works. So basically, there are, I think, 6 different tiers of rewards. The first one is when you kill somewhere between 10 and 20 enemies, you get a big bomb. The second one is if you kill 30 more enemies, you get a goddess amulet. If you kill 40 more enemies after that, you get a power apple. If you kill somewhere between 50 and 60 enemies after that, you get a stone. If you kill 70 enemies after that, you get a cheer trumpet. And if you kill 75 enemies after that, you get a confusion amulet. But the whole process is a little bit odd. It's not exactly 100% clear how exactly it works, even to people who assumedly know how it works. So the reason for that is because it's very easy for one tier to kind of bleed into the next. So especially at the last one. If you kill 70 enemies, you get a cheer trumpet. If you kill 75, you get a confusion amulet. And even though each tier works like it's not cumulative, so if you get the big bomb after 10 to 20 enemies, you have to go and kill 30 more enemies to get the next level. But if you accidentally go over, then you skip a tier and get the next reward. So if you accidentally kill 75 enemies instead of 70, you skip the cheer trumpet altogether, which is the big reward to get from this stuff to begin with. So you have to be kind of careful. And the easiest way to do this is there are actually 3 different areas to fight in Zaraban now that we've finished the story here. I can't actually think off the top of my head what they're called. I should probably figure that out. Hold on. Okay, so we got the Ishima Rocks, the Raiden Ruins, and the Salian Desert. The Salian Desert and the Raiden Ruins both have 10 enemies every time you fight there, whereas the Ishima Rocks has 6 enemies. So you can use that to your advantage to kind of control how many enemies you're fighting. The other thing to keep in mind is that every time you visit the Water Guardian, the reason the numbers aren't cumulative is because every time you visit him, he resets your counter down to 0. So if you're aiming for 30 enemies, but you've only killed 28 somehow, then you visit the Water Guardian premature, your counter resets to 0 and you have to start all over again. So no matter what the case is, you're usually best off saving every time you go before you visit the Water Guardian, and visiting him often. So, that's that. Okay, so now that all that is done, let's head over to the Water Shrine, and I would say hope that we got a reward, but I've actually pre-checked whether or not we got it, so unless something went really wrong, we should have our reward. Yay, we get a big bomb! But that's in fact just our first reward, of course, so we'll be coming back here to do more of that later, which I will do off-screen. And hopefully I'll get out everything I am interested in getting, but if that's not the case, then you know what? It's not the end of the world. For now, let us see where we are to go next. I imagine no smoking would be pretty important on an airship. Tell us, Mr. Stone, where is the last stone? Yes, I think we've kind of figured that out by now. Saria! That's where we started our adventure. Oh, so the Fire Guardian was within the castle all this time? Imagine that. Maybe there's another castle inside Saria somewhere. That's not exactly our goal here, Tosh. Have you ever even been to Saria, Iga? How would he know any of these things? Just whatever. So our next destination is, of course, Saria. But as always, there are some side things that we need to do before that. First off is to return to Milmana, as always. Go to Toyoke Forest. Shiny Forest. Thanks for those words of wisdom, I guess? Okay, so, like I said, our next destination is Saria. But I'm actually not going to be headed there next. Because I guess the way that I handle Arc the Lad is a little bit different from what I would probably think is the norm. See, there's a whole bunch of side quests and stuff that you can do in this game, all of which require just grinding out battles and such. But the thing is, they give you like all these nice rewards and stuff, but none of them, like, normally you would think that you would want to do that stuff like at the end of the game. But I don't really agree with that, because, I mean, if you do it at the end of the game, then you don't get any use out of the rewards. So, I prefer to do it, or at least some of it, or more likely most if not all of it, at this point in the game, before heading to Saria to free the Fire Guardian. So, before I actually head there, I'm going to be doing a whole ton of side quests and such. And probably a big chunk of it is going to end up being off-screen or whatnot. So the first thing on the docket is I am going to return to Zaraban, and I'm going to spend a whole bunch of time grinding out battles there to get more rewards from the Water Guardian. After that, I'm probably going to come back and show you the last few rounds of the Proving Grounds in the Amidar Temple in Greyshine. And then after that, we have, where is it? In Alatos, we have the Forbidden Ruins, the massive 50-floor dungeon. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to handle that yet, because of course it's a pretty massive undertaking. What I think I'm going to do is something similar to what I did at the beginning of this episode, where I just kind of record the whole thing, speed it up in editing, and then kind of voice over it. And it just kind of will take however long that it takes. Now, depending on how you've handled the game up until now, you may not want to do things the way that I'm doing them. But the way I handle Arc the Lad is always that Arc just ends up taking the lion's share of everything. So he ends up being way more powerful, way higher level than everyone else. And as a result, he is around, I think he's exactly level 40 right now. Even though everyone else is somewhere between like 20 and 25-ish. I think Iga might be like 28, but whatever. The point is that most of the side quests that I'm referring to, well, I guess specifically the Proving Grounds and the Forbidden Ruins, they start becoming possible at around level 40. So by the time I'm done getting through them, I'll have leveled up enough to the point where I should be high enough level to handle whatever challenges they're going to end up throwing at me. So, I mean, you certainly don't have to do the stuff at this point that I am. It's certainly more challenging to do it that way, but Arc the Lad is a pretty easy game anyway, so whatever. So anyways, I guess I'm going to be grinding out some battles in Zaraban, and I will catch you on the next episode of Let's Play Arc the Lad.